Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Oh no, today's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, it's hump day, woohoo. I am here today, Krista, the relationship chef, and I'm gonna give you just a little tiny recipe for your enjoyment because it's always good to have something new in your repertoire. Today we're gonna make a salad dressing. It's a pretty basic vinaigrette that I've been making since I was a wee kid. My mom used to make it. She used to make it and put it in a mayonnaise jar in the fridge, you know, the glass jars with the metal lid. I just threw out a mayonnaise jar, so I'm gonna put it in a little plastic container, comme ça. And yeah, let's talk salad dressing. Let's get going on this. So the first ingredient I'm going to use and prepare is fresh parsley. And my parsley did amazingly in my garden this year, which was fantastic. So I actually have a lot of parsley. I've got to chop it up and freeze it soon before it goes to seed and dies in the winter. So, but it's always great to have fresh parsley on hand. And I usually will chop it up really fine, wash it and put it in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. And then I always have parsley for recipes, and I can make this all throughout the winter. So what I've done is I've taken off the big stems, right? Because they're tough and woody, and you don't want those in your dressing. And it's one of those things that, you know, you end up, it seems like it's all stem, right? So I'm going to get rid of some other, but yeah, it's fun to be able to pop out into my garden and just pick the parsley and have it fresh and give it a little wash. Make sure it's clean, and then chop it up for my dressing. So I've got the stems off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of roll it, squish it into a little bunch. You're not going to hurt the parsley. You're not going to damage it or bruise it or anything like that. Knife. Just going to give it a quick chop. And you want to chop it pretty fine. Of course, it's entirely up to you. If you want to have chunkier pieces, that's fine too. But I prefer to have it chopped up fairly fine. It doesn't have to be microscopic like a dried parsley would be, but it should be fairly small. No curly leafy bits really, if you can avoid them, because they're going to be in the vinaigrette dressing and they will discolor a little bit, right? So a little flake of slightly discolored parsley is fine, but a leaf of slightly discolored parsley due to the vinegar doesn't mean it's bad. It's just the color's not what it should be. Just doesn't look as nice. So also I have people ask me, can I use dried parsley with this? And my answer is, if you must. But fresh parsley is just, it gives you that much better flavor. And you know, like I said, you can chop the parsley up, wash it, and put it in a freezer. And maybe I'll teach that little trick on a different lesson, because a lot of people have really enjoyed that particular tip from me. But if you buy parsley, you don't have to worry about using it all, because you can absolutely chop it and put it in the freezer, and it stays bright green. It's really wonderful. I've always got about 3 rogue parsley bags in the freezer because I always think I don't have any. This isn't the best knife to be doing this with, I'll be honest. I would prefer, I'm better off doing this with a chef's knife that has a rounded blade so that I can rocker it a little more. So this just happens to be what was in the drawer and not in the dishwasher. So I only need 3 tablespoons of parsley for this. So I admit I'm doing a little overkill here. But I've got it all chopped up nice and fine, and you can see it's just in fine pieces, not in big clumpy pieces. So let's transport that to a bowl. I'm all about bowls and presentation dishes, I'm not gonna lie. When I have a meal, I like to make it look nice, and I like to put it in nice dishes, and that goes the same for parsley. I could put it in a little stainless steel bowl, but you know what? It's so much prettier in my red and white heart-shaped bowl. So let's just get the rest of that, scrape that up, and then I'm just gonna get a little cloth and give this a wipe so that my surface is clean again. I kind of have a thing about clean counters. I don't like doing things on dirty counters with crumbs and bits of food or whatever. But I have this absolutely wonderful Butcher Block Island, which I love. It means I don't have to use cutting boards ever. So I've got just a big space to work on. And because of that, you can see the knife marks and you can see, you know, some food stains, but it's a work surface. And any cutting board is going to be like that. And this is just my favorite surface. And so, you know, from time to time, Billy will get some sandpaper, some fine sandpaper. Just take the top off it and get rid of any stains. But for the most part, it just looks lived in. For me, I feel comfortable with it. So here is my handy dandy mayonnaise jar, salad dressing container, whatever. If you have a salad, like a proper salad dressing container, because some people do, great. If you have an old salad dressing bottle that you bought store-bought and salad dressing in and repurpose it, perfect. If you have like a kombucha bottle, anything like that, you can put it in. It's just, this is all I happen to have right now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to put in here is 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley. And of course, when you're talking about chopped parsley, it's not precise. You can push it down and make sure you have lots, or you can heap the spoon a little bit. No big deal. The next ingredient is garlic. Now, I want to caution everybody, this is not a heavily garliced salad dressing. The garlic is here for a little bit of an accent. It is definitely not meant to take it over. So what I recommend is a very small clove of garlic. I'm having trouble getting the skin off. Normally it pops off as soon as I squish it. Anyways, a very small clove of garlic, and you can see I just took the knife and squished it, flattened it a bit so that it's sort of broken open. Put the whole thing in. You can use a garlic press. If you use a garlic press, please only use half of a tiny clove of garlic if it's all broken up. Like I said, it's not meant to be heavily garlicked. And sometimes the subtle flavors can be really fabulous in something like this. Not that bang you over the head, fire hose to the face flavor of garlic. Sometimes the subtle flavors are really, really wonderful. So like one small smashed clove of garlic. And then we're going to put some sugar in. Now the sugar is kind of an interesting part of this. It makes the, let's take those pieces of parsley out. It makes the dressing a little bit sweet, but it also makes it really tones down the acidity of the vinegar, right? So that you can put it on and you're not hit with that of garlic. So the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons. I have already downgraded it to 2. Try it with 1, but try it with 2 first because it is really nice. It just makes it a mild and easy to use salad dressing for everything. Another thing you can do with this instead of your traditional salad is take some veggies, put them in a container. I used to use a Country Crock container. I'm not even going to tell you how many years ago when I lived in Colorado to marinate vegetables, but you know, put some broccoli and some carrots and some cucumbers or whatever, and just sprinkle a little bit of this on, let it marinate, and then you can just have it to kind of pick out for treats. Okay, that's the garlic, the sugar, the parsley. We are going to put 1 teaspoon of salt. I want you to know I'm on my very best behavior because I usually don't measure. Pepper. What does it say? Half a teaspoon of black pepper. When using a pepper mill, I just say do it until your arm gets tired. Let's put it in front here so you can see me. Haha. So, well, my arm didn't get tired early this time, so there's a fair bit of pepper in there. Okay. Pepper. Oh, I need oregano. So this calls for oregano. 3/4 of a teaspoon of oregano. If you have fresh oregano, like I do in my garden, you can use that. Just increase the amount a little bit. Or if you're like me and are choosing a slightly lazier method, then it's 3/4 of a teaspoon of oregano. By the way, I am telling you the measurements, but I'm definitely going to pop the recipe in the comments so that you guys can have it to refer to at your leisure. All right, red wine vinegar. White vinegar, bleh. Cider vinegar, okay. Balsamic vinegar, not right for this recipe because balsamic vinegar has a different flavor profile, a different acidity and sweetness. And my big thing with balsamic vinegar is it's so dark that it discolors your salad. So I am going to say that I would like you to please use red wine vinegar. Oh, and just getting back to the garlic for a second, because I forgot to mention this is one of my soapboxes that I'm on all the time. Please do not ever use garlic. If you have garlic in your fridge, go throw it away. It's gross. It does not give you a good garlic flavor the way a fresh clove of garlic will. And a head of garlic costs under $1. It's cheap, a little bit more effort, radically improved quality of your food. So please do not use garlic. So that's half a cup of red wine vinegar. And the oil, I am just using canola oil because canola oil is a very healthy oil, as is olive oil. Sometimes I'll do half and half. I generally will not put pure olive oil in. The reason for that is that olive oil is essentially the juice from an olive. And if you squeeze an orange and you put orange juice in the fridge for 6 months or a year, it's yucky, right? Olive oil is very similar. And unless you've had super fresh olive oil, like pressed within 3 months, maybe 6 months, then you don't know the beauty of fantastic olive oil. So 90% of what you buy in the shelf has been in the grocery store, has been there for a while. It was harvested a year ago or 2 years ago even, right? So it has a very strong flavor. And although it's pleasant, I don't like it in full force because it overpowers everything. So when I do Caesar salad or anything like that, I will use half and half olive oil and canola oil. With this, I will sometimes use half and half, but I rarely will use pure olive oil. I always use pure olive oil when I'm cooking because it's the healthiest of oils. And I'm obviously not frying because olive oil has a lower smoke point than regular vegetable oil. But for dressings and stuff like this, it's going to be a very important part. I generally don't use full strength olive oil. I use half and half or vegetable oil, but entirely up to you. Taste as you go. So here are the ingredients. Just threw them in the container. I'm going to shake this and hope it doesn't leak. So basically, just shake it until the sugar dissolves. It is a vinaigrette. You will never combine, unless you had some mustard, and even then it might not. You will never have the olive or the oil and vinegar combined permanently. It's always going to separate in the container. But when you're ready to serve it, just give it a shake, pour it on your salad, and toss it immediately. And there you go. You have fresh homemade salad dressing. There's no need to buy that bottled stuff. I never buy bottled stuff. I don't like it. I can tolerate a balsamic one from time to time. I actually don't mind bottled blue cheese dressing because I'm too lazy to make that myself. But for the most part, I don't ever use bottled dressing. And it's one of those things, I'll go into a restaurant and say, do you make your own dressing? And they'll go, no. And I go, okay, I'm not having a salad. So it's easy, right? How long did this take us? I didn't even look. A few minutes. So please try to make your own salad dressing. This one's super easy. It'll last in the fridge for 3 to 6 months, right? I've never had it last. I've never had it go off, but I do use it on a regular basis. And, you know, it's important when you're creating food, when you're doing these things, to feel like you're serving a quality product, that you have something that you're proud of. And if you're a foodie like I am, the little details are really important. And, you know, I spent years with a partner who was not a foodie. He ate to get full, and which is fine. Everybody's different. But imagine he and I were at odds, right? I'd do these things and it wouldn't mean anything to him. You know, he wouldn't eat a salad with a dressing like that. And he wouldn't, you know, eat so many different things. And it was really tough because I wanted to express myself and have amazing food. And I appreciated the quality of the food. And I just couldn't do it with him. And then I met Billy and everything changed, because here was a guy who loved food, who appreciated food, and, you know, he was fun to cook for. And I remember having a conversation with him one day, and we were talking about French onion soup, and I said, do you like French onion soup? And he said, oh yeah, I love French onion soup. I said, oh good, I'll make it for you sometime. And I said, but it's got to be with Swiss cheese. I can't stand it when you go to a restaurant and they have mozzarella cheese because it's just not the same. And when I say Swiss cheese, I mean like Emmenthal or whatever, like the stuff that has holes in it that has actual flavor. And Billy said to me, he goes, yeah, that's fine. But he said, I prefer Gruyere. And I'm like, oh, I found my spirit animal. Like the fact that he knew the difference between Gruyere and generic Swiss cheese was amazing. So, you know, I knew right then and there that I was going to have a lot of fun cooking for this wonderful man. And I do. And we cook together. And, you know, food is a very central part of our relationship. And I'm grateful for that. You know, I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Paris and I learned all these amazing techniques. And I learned about food and ingredients and making things taste fantastic. And to not have somebody I can, you know, sort of ply my trade on was so disappointing for so long. So now I love that Billy loves these things and we cook together and we do all sorts of fun stuff. So it's really great. But in honesty, a connected and passionate relationship is so fulfilling and it brings so much love and support and happiness to the people in the relationship, right? A relationship that maintains the love and passion is more likely to spread to doing things together and being together in every other part of your relationship, whether it's navigating challenges or celebrating milestones. It's amazing to have somebody in a connected relationship. So who here is like me, and you like to cook, you enjoy food, and you really want that loving and committed relationship? And, you know, there's so much to be benefited from that, and I love sharing it, but you got to work to maintain it, right? And there's different ways that people do it. Who here has ever done talk therapy, right? Or couples counseling or anything like that? How'd it go for you? Because I tell you, for me, it did not go well. It led to tense, awkward conversations and forced, you know, sharing. And it was just not productive for me. And I think that it definitely works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. And for me, the talk therapy, couples counseling was just terrible. So I had to think about it. And I want to ask you, what if there was a better way? What if I could show you how to connect with your partner, to find that spark of love and intimacy again, and really be together and connected on so many different levels? Because that's what my program, The Romantic Recipe, is all about. It's about helping people connect. But because I'm a chef, I help people connect through the love language of food. I help people come together in the kitchen and foster that commitment, that connectedness, so that you can come together in every other part of your life as well. The kitchen is the best part, the best way for couples to sort of find that love again. Are you the kind of person maybe who says, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go and spend time cooking and talking about food with my partner. I gotta call bullshit on that a little bit. I'm sorry, but we all have time. You know, how much time do you do the death scroll on your phone or the Netflix and chill, right? Spend time in front of the TV. This is time that you can connect with your partner. You can always find time to connect with your partner. Even if you have kids, you can find time to connect with your partner. And it's maybe even more important when you have kids, because your kids need to have A, the example of their parents in a great relationship, and B, a happy and fulfilled parent is a better parent for your kids. Maybe you say to me, oh, but Krista, I don't like to cook with anybody in the kitchen. Well, hello, chef here. I didn't either. I had a very hard time allowing somebody into the kitchen with me. Even my kids, I didn't always let cook with me. But I got better at it. And I started to cook with Billy because I used to hear these little secrets, these little hints he would drop about being able to cook. And I started letting him come into the kitchen with me, and we have so much fun cooking together, right? It's all about the intimacy, the proximity, the a touch here, a squeeze there. He runs his hand down my back and pats me on the bottom. And, it's amazing when you learn, you set the intention to allow this person into your kitchen, into this sort of space that you normally dominate, then you turn that evening into something special. The truth is that you can say I don't have time or I don't like to cook with anybody else, but imagine what would happen if you did take the time and you did do the steps to connect and increase your intimacy and your passion, your love through food. What would it feel like if you were connected and felt that love again and wanted to be there with your partner? What if you let them in and said, I chose to spend the rest of my life with you. I choose to make this connection better. The romantic recipe is for people like you, like me, who are committed to our partners, who want to have this amazing and connected relationship, and who are done with awkward conversations and forced intimacy, who refuse to have a stale relationship that the heat has gone from. Look in the comments. You're going to find a link to my booking calendar and book a call with me right now. Let's talk about how we can get the fire going again and how the romantic recipe can help you connect with your partner on a deeper and better level. Because the truth of the matter is, at the end of days, we're not looking back at our life and saying, I wish I'd had more business meetings. I wish I'd made $10,000 more. The truth is, at the end of the days, we are looking back saying, I wish we'd had more time with the ones we love. Don't waste the time. Call, reach out, book the call. I'll talk to you soon.